ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजम् ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं महागणपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं चर्षणीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम्। ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवि वचक्षुराततम्। ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं महालक्ष्म्यै नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो नमः शिवाय च शिवाय नमो नमः शिवाय च शिवाय च शिवाय शिवाय च। ॐ श्लीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः। Can everybody say after me Hare Ramakrishna 3 times? Om Hare Ramakrishna Hare Ramakrishna Hare Ramakrishna. Welcome back all of you. Happy Navaratris. Happy Devi Navaratris. Actually, I'll just read one small suktam on the occasion of Devi Navaratris. This is Devi Suktam from Rigveda Samhita. This is very auspicious to read always, but particularly during the Devi Navaratris. This is basically for Devi. This is not for Durga. This is not Durga Suktam, or this is not for Lakshmi like Sri Suktam. This is not for Saraswati Suktam. This is Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati all together as just represented as Devi, the Divine Mother basically. So this is the Suktam for Devi. Om aham rudrebhirvasubhischaraam yahamadityai ruta vishvadevaih aham mitra varunobha bibharmyahamindragni aham ashvinobha. Mistake happened. I'll do again. Om aham rudrebhirvasubhischaraam yahamadityai ruta vishvadevaih aham mitra varunobha bibharmyahamindragni aham ashvinobha aham somamahanasam bibharmyaham tvashta poshanam bhagam aham dadami dravinam havishmate supravye yajamanaya sunvate aham rashtrī sangamani vasunam chikitushi prathama yajñiyānam tamma devāvjadadhuh purutra bhūristhatram bhūrya vesayantim maya so annamattiyo vipasyati yah pranitiya im shrunotyuktam amantavo manta upakshiyanti shrudhisrutasradhivam te vadami अहमेव स्वयमिदं वदामि जोष्टं देवेभिरुतमानुषेभिः यं कामयेतं तमुग्रं कृणोमि तं ब्रह्माणं तं ऋषिं तं च मेधाम् अहं रुद्राय धनुरातनोमि ब्रह्मद्विषेस्य रवेहन्तवाउ अहं जनाय समदं कृणोम्यहं जावा पृथिवी आविवेश अहं सुवे पितरमस्य मूर्धन्ममयो निरप्स्वन्तः समुद्रे ततो वितिष्ठे भुवनानुविश्वोतामूञ्ज्वां वर्ष्मणोपस्पृशामि अहमेव वात इव प्रवाम्यारभमाणा भुवनानि विश्वा परोधिव पर एना पृथिव्यै तावती महिना सम्बभूव। ॐ महाकाल्यै च विद्महे महालक्ष्म्यै च धीमहि तन्नो वाणी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Which nakshatra are we on? Are we done or one more? We did Ashwini, so we have to do Bharani now. Yeah, 27th. One more. No, actually that is the end, right? We started with Kritika, so this is the last nakshatra. Ashwini, Agni, I believe. No, sorry. Kritika is Agni. Ashwini is Ashwini Devatas. The name itself is a clue. Bharani is Yama. So today's mantra is, it is a mantra for the Bharani Nakshatra. It's actually a mantra for Yamadharma Raja as the ruling deity of the Bharani Nakshatra. Om apapapmanam bharanir bharantu tadyamo raja bhagavan vichastam lokasya raja mahato mahanhi sugam nah panthaya mabhayam krunotu yasmin nakshatre yamayeti raja yasminnena mabhyashinchanta devah tadasya chitrang havisha jajama apapapmanam bharanir bharantu. Om. This is the mantra for Bharani Nakshatra. Mantra for Yamadharma Raja as the ruler of the Bharani Nakshatra. Which graha are we on? We are done. Done with the grahas. Ketu, we are done. Okay. So we are done with all the Nakshatra and Graha Suktas. Good. I haven't finalized the details, but probably next Sunday, probably Navami Dashami border, I will probably, the Suktam that I read just now, Devi Suktam, I will probably read it a few times in Homam. I will do a Homam with this Suktam, probably 64 times. And any of you, if you are interested, mostly you are welcome. And next week's class will be there during the daytime, during the morning. And all the Homas, etc. went very well. Last weekend, in a span of 30 hours, we did 10 Chandi Homas. So we were continuously doing Chandi Homam. One is over, take 5-minute gap and do another Chandi Homam. So we were doing like that. So it took us 30 hours overall to finish all the 10 Chandi Homas. So this basically finished. Earlier I read 108 times Chandi Patham I read during this year, which I started during the Satyachandi Homam in March. So from then till June I read it 100 times. So this 10 Homas basically finishes it. So this is equivalent to another Satyachandi Homam. So we did one in Chennai and equivalent to one done at my home. So everything is over. So for a while probably we will continue to have classes regularly. All this busy season, this puja season is probably come to an end. So any questions? Actually, do you all remember what planets are, what Narayan Desai is, what Arudas are, or have you forgotten?
I have one question.
Yes.
Very quick one.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we consider sun in the Maranakaraka Sana, say sun in 12th house and things like that.
Yeah.
Should we take it only in Rasi or in Vargachakra?
Vargachakra also. Yeah, anyway.
Actually, Narayan ji was taken to class. I mentioned that Rahu in 9th house is in Maranakaraka Sana for Navamsha. He said no, we should see it only from Karyabhava and Karyabhava and the Karaka.
Mm-hmm. So should we?
Maybe he was, for a particular reason, he was looking from Karyabhava for the Karya. Probably for a particular specific reason he was doing it. But in general, in the divisional charts, from the Lagna to see whether see Manakaraka Sthana, you don't see just from Lagna. You can see from anywhere. Any place a planet can be in a death causing thing as far as that thing is concerned. Anything taken as a reference. If Sun is in 12th house, Sun is causing death to that particular thing. Sun is causing if he is in the house of giving up ego, the planet of ego, he causes some kind of blow to the ego as far as that matter is concerned. It can be a Karaka, Charakaraka, it can be a house, it can be anything, it can be a Paka, it can be anything. For example, you can see whether a planet is in Manakaraka Sthana from its own house, which is usually a bad thing. If for example Sun is in Cancer, and let's say Venus is in Pisces, then they are in Manakaraka Sthana from their own houses. So like that you can see planet in Manakaraka Sthana from its own house, planet in Manakaraka Sthana from Lagna, planet in Manakaraka Sthana from some other key house, which can be the Karya Sthana in the Dashamsha. So from that point of view, he may be talking about it. But I do, in my opinion, you can take Manakaraka Sthana from Lagna also. And I know that even Sanjay ji takes Manakaraka Sthana from Lagna in all the divisional charts. For example, in Narayan's own chart, Narayan Ayer's own chart, in Dashamsha, when we were rectifying, if you get Kanya Lagna, Venus and Rahu have Parivartana, both are in Manakaraka Sthana. So Sanjay ji was once saying, you have Venus and Rahu in Manakaraka Sthana in your Dashamsha from Lagna, from Kanya Lagna. but they have a Parivartana, so if the Parivartana is triggered, the Manakaraka effect is gone. So I know that Sanjay ji also does it, and whether he does it or not, I firmly believe that you can consider from Lagna also. But Narayan, I don't know if he said you can't do from Lagna, but if he said that you can do from Karyabhava or Karaka or something else, that is a valid point of view. If he said you cannot take from Lagna, that is questionable.
Yeah, he said so.
Okay, then that is questionable. Any other points?
Yeah, I'm
Hmm?
going to give you a very good example to look at.
Okay. Of what?
In India, just now, there
Yeah.
was a bank, cooperative banks had a problem.
Mhm.
So I lost a lot of money in that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It's too bad. No?
The banks are like under.
Hmm.
Reserve Bank took it now. They are saying no more withdrawals of the
Hmm.
money.
Mm-hmm.
Something is going on.
Yeah, we can look at mundane chart, and of course we can look at his own chart.
No, we can look at his own chart.
Yeah, we can look at both basically. But his chart doesn't explain why banking, there is a crisis
There
in
is a lot of
banking.
banking, all cooperative
Yeah.
banks.
But
They have a problem.
The chart for the bank.
yeah, we don't. So we'll just use India's chart. It's a crisis in India. If it is, I'm not reading the news, so I don't know.
It's only in Maharashtra.
In Maharashtra.
Only in Maharashtra, I see. Okay,
All cooperative banks. The bank was worth 1,000 crore.
I see.
Went under because they gave a lot of money to the builders. Who
Ah.
couldn't pay in time.
I see.
So
I
the
see.
bank is saying no.
Mm-hmm.
Are we done with the GP? No.
No, we are not
We are
done.
going back.
We will go back. We'll go back. Yes. Any other questions?
How do you see pilgrimages?
Very good. Yeah.
Because in summer, my husband and I went to Kedarnath and Badrinath.
Okay.
So I was looking at my annual Thivi Pravesha.
Yeah. First of all, look at Rashi, Navamsha and Vimshamsha. This is spiritual activity. So Vimshamsha. And in general, this is a dharmic activity. So Navamsha. And Rashi, of course. So Rashi, Navamsha and Vimshamsha are the charts. And the Karakas, the houses, the Bhavas are 9th and 10th houses. 9th house is the house of Dharma. And it is also the house of long journeys. And especially if you go on a long journey for Dharma, definitely it is the 9th house. And 10th house because it is the Karmasthana. For example, Rahu in the 10th house is supposed to give a lot of pilgrimages. If Rahu is in the 10th house when his Dasha comes or Antardasha comes. So one thing is 10th house is the house of karma, and if you go on a pilgrimage you are doing some nice good karma. And also it has Argala on the 9th house. So 9th and 10th houses are the key houses.
You see 12th also?
You can see 12th also.
Because
But
later-
primary houses are, yes, absolutely. Primary houses are 9th and 10th.
In Vimshamsha. Not
In Rashi, Navamsha and Vimshamsha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the three charts, these houses. And see any interesting links. And of course, Karakas would be Rahu, Ketu and Jupiter. In general, for all dharmic activities, you can consider Sun and Jupiter as Karakas. But especially for going to a different place, probably if you go on a pilgrimage, if you just go to the temple that is next to your house, I'm not talking about Rahu and Ketu then. But if you go to, for example, if you are from South India, you go to some place in Punjab or some place in Orissa, you are going to a foreign culture just for religious reason. So it's all new to you. So in those cases, Rahu and Ketu are the Karakas for foreign things. So for pilgrimages also, you can consider Rahu and Ketu.
other quick ones.
Yes.
For family deity, do we look at the Rashi chart or
Vimshamsha.
controversies? I mean, not
No, there is no controversy.
Not controversy, but there is some discussion going on. The
I
Yahoo
see.
groups.
Unfortunately, I'm totally isolated
No,
from
no,
the
no,
Yahoo
I'm
group,
not
so I don't
asking
know.
discussion, but I'm just
Yeah.
want to get confusion about these things.
Yeah, I don't know who said what. So without going into that, what I will say is
The second house in
Vimshamsha.
Vimshamsha.
Second house in Vimshamsha. Second house, you can take second Arudha, you can take second Lord, but it has to do with the second house in Vimshamsha. You can do more, that is what tradition says.
Right.
You can do more creative things, like you can take the Rashi, you can take the second Lord of Rashi, or you can take year 2 Lord of Rashi, and then see where he is in Vimshamsha and see influences on him in Vimshamsha. So you can see the family in Rashi, then you can transpose to the Vimshamsha, and then you can find the spiritual connections in the Vimshamsha. But the deity is only from Vimshamsha. Before I forget, I will forget, I almost forgot, I wanted to say at the beginning, there is some prasadam from the Mahaganapati Homam today, just before the class, the daily Mahaganapati Homam prasadam is there. So all of you can take a little bit I didn't bring much. All of you can take a little bit at the end of the class. or even now you can pass. Any other questions?
What is
So which Yahoo group has this discussion on
Our Vedic astrology.
Vedic astrology? I see. Okay.
Sohamsa, I think
Sohamsa, yeah.
Ramdas Rauji is given one.
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
Sri from South Africa.
Srichan, yeah.
They're both, I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
exchange of the emails. And
Yeah.
So that's what I read was the book from Sanjay's book,
Yeah.
Sansa.
Yeah.
Now, they say also you have to look at the Rasi's fourth house, then from there you have to go into it. A lot of discussions. I just want to make sure that
I see.
I understand. I don't want to take it.
Yeah.
different.
The standard traditional way is to look at the second house in Vimshamsha, and whether that is perfect or whether there is some fine tuning needed, I am not fully sure. Because if you take second house, if you take the planet there, planet occupying it, aspecting it, planet having Agla on it, planet having Agla on the Lord of it, there are so many influences. So if you want to pick those influences, you may want to consult the Rashi and see which planet has a connection to the A2 or second house in the Rashi also. So you can do some fine tuning, but bottom line is the basic principle is second house in Vimshamsha. That is the basic principle. The modifications can come from Rashi, consultation of the Rashi chart.
One more question.
Yes.
Just the top level point on this.
Yeah.
To fix a muhurta for somebody's marriage.
Yeah.
So I was only going to consider because they were very selective that they want next year sometime on a long weekend or just on a weekend.
Okay.
Some such kind of very
Okay.
limited thing.
Yeah.
Limited scope. So I was only going to consider both boys and girls groom and bridegrooms. I'm going to only consider the Chandrabala, Tarabala and just the Panchanga elements.
Okay.
Are there anything more that I should specifically look into or just that much?
That is enough. That is enough. Don't worry too much about other things. If the Chandrabala, Tarabala for both is reasonable, that's
and,
it.
Between both of their lagnas, they are not in Sarasaka or 2-12 relationship between both of them.
Yeah, those are also you can see. But the main thing is if Chandrabala, Tarabala is there, and if the Hora Lord, the Hora at the time you are doing the Vivaha, if that Hora Lord is not a terrible planet in either chart. If he is 6th Lord or 8th Lord in one of the charts, it's not desirable.
Okay.
I mean, you can't select the 7th Lord in both the cases, 7th or 9th Lord in both the cases, 7th, 9th and 12th. These are the important houses. If you do the Vivaha, marriage, during the Hora of the 7th Lord or 9th Lord or 12th Lord of either bride or bridegroom, that will be perfect, but it may not be possible to select it for both. So it may be 5th Lord in one case, it may be 10th Lord in another case, fine. As long as it is not the 6th Lord or 8th Lord for one of them, that is fine. So make sure that it is not a terrible Hora. You don't need to shoot for the best Hora, just not a terrible Hora. Then the Chandrabala is basically reasonable for both of them. And the Lagna that you select is not Shadashtaka or Dudvadasha for either of their Lagna, if possible. That is also not so important. At least the Lagna you have chosen should not have a very, very weak score in the Ashtakavarga of either person. In the Ashtakavarga of either, when you take the Sarvashtakavarga of both of them, let us say Pisces has the least score, 16 points, let's say. That is extremely low. So if you choose Pisces Lagna, anything done in that Pisces Lagna is not auspicious for that person. So it's avoidable. So such terrible things avoid. And then you don't have to shoot for the best. Just avoid the terrible things, you are all set. And then the most important thing is, these are all secondary. The most important thing is the Muhurta itself, taken as a standalone thing, not in consultation with the natal chart, just as a standalone independent thing. That should be a reasonable Muhurta. That give lot of importance to that.
How about the Vara? You don't consider the Vara?
Pardon me? You can consider the Vara also. The Vara Lord, Varesha, what houses he owns in the two natal charts, you can consider. But that is, in my view, secondary. If the Varesha at least is strong in the chart itself, basically, in the Muhurta chart, that will take care of a lot of weaknesses. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Functional debility.
Functional?
Functional debility.
I am not aware of that name. Where did you read it?
I think.
Oh, I am not sure what it means.
says that if suppose Venus and Mercury are together,
Hmm.
in Mercury's house Venus gets debilitated.
Right.
So whenever Mercury and Venus together,
Uh-huh.
they
I
they
see.
will
So when a planet is with the planet who causes the planet's
get
Nicha,
debility.
and the planet is in functional Nicha. Okay, I haven't heard that concept, so obviously I can't comment on it. But in general, Mercury and Venus are such good friends. Just because Venus, it's not Venus getting debilitated. Actually, the example you gave itself is a very good example. Now, just because, see, Moon and Mars, let us take, they are such good friends. They are together is Chandramangala Yogam. And but it so happens that Mars is debilitated in Moon Rashi. But just because of it, if you say whenever there is Chandramangala Yoga, Mars is weak, he is functionally debilitated. It doesn't make sense to me. He is quite strong. He is with his buddy Moon.
Maybe Venus and Sun.
Venus and Sun, but the thing is,
Sun
Sun is what?
they are
Yes,
enemies and
yes,
Sun
but there he is also with the enemy.
enemies.
So maybe there it applies more. Even the example that you gave is a good example. Mercury and Venus, if you take, they are good friends. It just so happened that in Mercury's sign, Venus is debilitated because it is the 6th house of the natural zodiac. So Venus being debilitated in Virgo has less to do with Virgo being owned by Mercury and more to do with Virgo being the 6th house of the natural zodiac. And Venus hates 6th, anything relating to 6th. War, no. Brahmacharya, no. He doesn't like anything that has to do with 6th house. He is the 7th house person. So for him, the 6th house is very debilitating. So a planet being debilitated in a particular sign has to do with that sign, has to do with the nature of that sign. It's not to do with the lord of that sign. Lord of the sign just happens to deliver whatever this planet hates. So it's not the planet that he hates. For example, in Gemini, Venus is very happy. So to say that Mercury and Venus together, Venus is always weak because of it is meaningless. But if a planet is with an enemy in whose house it gets debilitated, maybe he is doubly unhappy. He is with enemy and also an enemy who is capable of giving him hell. So then he may be even more upset about it. So maybe there is some validity to it, but that validity has to be brought in by putting a lot of conditioning. It's not. I don't think that rule is absolute.
There's one more point I heard on,
Yeah.
not related to this, but
Yeah.
like when we are talking about Magnakaraka Sthana, that's not applicable as much to Moon and Sun because they just own one house. Most of us who own two houses
Yeah.
have this effect more compared to those who are exempt from this rule. That's applicable, but not in the same quantity or same degree.
Okay. If it makes sense to you, you use it. Yeah. Because we are not really talking about ownership here. We are just talking about placement with respect to a difference. So it's not that. I mean, it's not such a. How many houses you own is not really a big deal. That way you can say Rahu also owns only one house, so you can include Rahu also there. And then you can say Saturn owns two houses, but one of them he has to share with Rahu. So practically he owns one house. So like that, if you do, all planets will be covered. I mean, half the planets. Any other points? Where are we on BBHS?
We finished Sankranti Dosham.
Sankranti Dosham. What?
It's not a person, it is space.
Today's chart. What did you say?
The person who won at this time,
Yeah.
he has got
Gajageshari,
and
yeah.
then 6
So many planets in the 12th house. Actually, Mercury, Sun and
One
Ketu.
in Magnakaraka Sthana.
Yeah, but he is
No, I know.
Padhaka Sthana in Manakaraka Sthana. It is Padhaka Lord. So it is. This is very good.
and Rahu in 6th house.
Yeah. Venus Lagna Lord in 11th house. Saturn in 10th house in Karka. So whoever is born now, nice chart.
Will be a great guy.
Yeah. Famous guy. And very good spiritualist.
But very far.
Famous spiritualist.
There was a question on
23 degrees.
Yeah.
on the website, I mean, Yahoo groups where they are asking about this, what we covered last week,
Yeah.
last time. Sankranti Dosham.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about it?
This is addressed to you actually.
I see. Okay.
He was asking about the placement of
Kalasha.
Kalshas
Oh.
and
Did we mention it in the class?
Hari, I think Hari is the one asking the
Oh, only Hari.
Only her.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the whole email. I just glanced through it. So yesterday I was going through it. Saturday I sent you, forwarded to you.
I got your mail. I didn't send.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, when we finished it last week, when somehow somebody asked a question on these
Mm-hmm.
doshas.
I see.
The second time it happened. That's another one. Right after we finished.
Mm-hmm.
But for this muhurtam at this time, moon is in Rasi Sindhi,
Yeah.
very border.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah. Moon is in Rashi. Yes. So?
Hmm?
So? Just wanted to say.
No,
I mean, if you complete your thought, stream of thought, it may be more useful to us.
no, the thought was about as far as Gajikesari is concerned, they
Oh.
are pretty far.
Yeah, they are pretty far. But still, they are pretty far, but it's better than one being here, one being in a different room. Instead of I being here, you being in the room downstairs, at least we are in the same room. Maybe I am there, you are here. But if I say something, you can at least hear. Whereas if you are there, you can't even hear. So there is some. It's not the most perfect basically. It's not fullest, but there is some yoga.
But A10, A11, A4 and that kind.
That is excellent.
That is going to
Huh?
we have 3 Arudas are in here.
Yeah.
Main
Those 3 are very good arudhas. 11 is the fulfillment. 11 is a very important arudha, labhapada. It is basically not just labha, it's not just gains. People look at it as gain. 11 is not just gains. It is basically fulfillment. 3rd is the initiative you show. 7th is the desire you nurture. And the 11th is finally fulfillment of the desire. It's basically getting the desire. So the 11 is actually achieving whatever you wanted to achieve.
It means that person's focus is on A11 or A11 comes to him.
Yeah, A11, A10 both are together. So A10 is basically the work that you do, right? 10th house is the work. So tangible work he does, and A11 is the tangible fulfillment. So usually when A10 and A11 are together, whatever the person does, it gets fulfilled basically. Any connection between A10.
Results will come.
Yeah, whatever work he does, there will be what his desire are fulfilled because of the. I mean, if you do some work, something is actually there done, but the thing is your desire may not be fulfilled fully. Whereas if A10 and 11 are together, especially strong, if they are together but hammered by bad planets, maybe not good. But if they are together and good planets are blessing that sign, then what that means is the person does lot of good work, and also because of the work, his desires are fulfilled. 11th house is basically fulfillment of your desires, and A11 is tangible fulfillment of desires. It will seem as though his desires are basically granted because of all the work that he is doing, and A4 is happiness, comfort. So he is very happy. Whatever he does happily. Whereas let us say A10 and A8 are together. The person may be doing lot of work, but also it may involve lot of hard work, lot of labor, etc. If A6 and A10 are together, he may do lot of work, but amid tangible opposition, amid tangible enmity. Here A10, A11 and A4 are together. Brilliant. This is excellent.
So
And
what
Gadge-
too, you know, the Navamsa Lagna is.
What Navamsa?
What is your
You put it both short same, okay.
Yeah.
Not same.
But moon is Varkottama.
Moon is
See, you are going to say something. You had a valid point. You were saying something wrong, but there was a valid point hidden in what you were saying. Moon is Varkottama.
And can you also say that Ketu being in 12, the
Yeah.
person will be extremely spiritual.
Yeah, Ketu is in 12th with sun,
With sun.
with the Lord of the 12th. Ketu in 12th with the Lord of 12th means the person is spiritual, period.
And the A9 also involved.
Pardon me?
And A9 also.
A9, Dharmapada is there, yeah.
Will that also indicate here that UL is in 8th house, so he will have.
UL is in 9th house.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So what is your point?
I thought if UL was in 8th. I
Yeah.
was thinking that the spirituality and marriage life.
But there is a parivartana between 12th and 9th. 12th Arudha is in 9th, 9th Arudha is in 12th. There is an Arudha parivartana between 9th and 12th houses.
Arudha Parivartana?
Means Arudha of nth house is in Arudha of the nth house is in mth house. Arudha of the mth house is in nth house. That is Arudha
That
parivartana.
also, do we consider Arudha?
Yeah, Arudha parivartana is important. That brings a link between the two houses in a tangible way. The tangible manifestation of the 12th house is through 9th house, and the tangible manifestation of 9th house is through 12th house. So there is a link between the two houses. So actually marriage can increase the dharma a lot. If somebody is born right now, marriage will increase the dharma of the person. After marriage there will be lot of dharma, lot of dharmic activities. So marriage is a very important thing for a person like this.
Should get them married very soon.
I mean, not right now. Wait for 20, 25 years, 20, 21 years. Whatever.
Parivartana between karakas.
Between which karakas?
Any two karakas.
Of what? Of Naisargika or Chara?
No, sir.
What do you mean by Parivartana between Naisargika and Chara karakas? What do you mean by Parivartana between Chara karakas? So Atmakaraka is in Amatkaraka's house and Amatkaraka is in Atmakaraka's house, like that?
No.
Yeah.
Suppose Jupiter is the karakas of fifth house.
Okay, so you are talking about Naisargika karaka. So fifth house karaka is in first house and first house karaka is in fifth house. That is a very good point. I haven't done anything like that until now, but it makes sense. It is like project manager of a software project is also a member in the hardware project, let us say. And the project manager for that hardware project is also a member in the software project, let us say. There are two projects, allied projects. So manager for one project is a member of another project group. And manager of that project, the project manager, is a member of this other project. So there is some synergy between them, right? So intuitively you would feel, yeah, but yeah, if sun is in fifth house, you can. In my view, I haven't done anything like that until now, but intuitively I feel that you can look at such yogas.
And both the houses.
If you see, for example, Jupiter in 7th house and Venus in 5th house, the Karaka for 5th house is in 7th house, Karaka for 7th house in 5th house. So there is a kind of Raj Yoga through Karakas, through project manager, between 5th and 7th houses. So if that person gets married, the marriage may increase childbirth. There may be good children because of the marriage, and children may actually, I will, when I said marriage and children, my wife called. One second, I'll take this call. Hello? అవునా ఓకే అయితే నేను కూడా వెళ్ళను ఇంకా బాయ్ బాయ్ ఓకే my wife went to this Telugu movie Stalin, Chiranjeevi's latest movie. She is a Chiranjeevi fan, so she went for the first show, which was I think Wednesday night or so. I didn't want to go because that's at 9:45 and by the time I come home it will be 2:30, so I wanted to do my home at 5, so I did not go, and kids also did not go. So if they missed the movie and wanted to go, today at 12 o'clock there is a show in Showcase Cinemas here. So I wanted to take them. So she would bring and leave them. I will take them to the movie. They weren't interested. So I'm also not going now. So that's the thing. So we can go on till 11:45 or so. Otherwise I was planning to leave this, finish this class early. That is why I took the class, because this gives me the direction. Okay, so in that case basically wife and children, basically each promote the other. Marriage will promote childbirth, good children, and good children will also, there will be good children because of whom marriage will be good, etc. So such things can be considered. Anything else?
We are not going to talk about it now. I have a chart that.
If we are not going to talk about it, let's not talk about it.
I will do homework, then
You will do homework.
there is a Pagni chart.
Okay. Now, after Sankranti, we are in eclipse, Grahana Shanti. Just a couple day back there was Grahanam. Just a couple of days back.
Friday.
Not here.
Not here.
Yeah, in some other places there was Surya Grahanam. That was in my Lagnam. This Surya Grahanam was in my Lagnam. Kanya Lagnam. Yeah, Surya, Chandra, everybody was in my Lagnam last few days. So we will do Grahana Jata Shanti Adhyayam. Chapter 91 in Santanam version. In G.C. Sharma you have to add I think 2 or some number to it. Before I continue, I just want to say one thing. I think I said earlier also, For the last month and a half, I am doing one homam every day morning, and I strongly recommend, if any of you are interested, I strongly recommend if you can do like a 30-minute or 40-minute homam every day, if it is possible. It is really, really good. I have done so many various spiritual practices, but there is nothing like homam. It basically, it kindles your bhutagni. Just like you have jaఠragni in your stomach, the agni that helps you digest the food that you take in, similarly there is an agni called bhutagni in your Sukshma Shariram. And in many people these days in Kali Yuga especially, that agni is very, very weak. And that agni helps you digest everything that you are getting. Not physically, but subtly. So many subtle things that are coming into your body, it is that agni which digests all of them. And if that agni is weak, it finally manifests as various problems in the physical plane also. Whatever happens in the subtle plane, something happens analogous to it in the physical plane. If that agni can be strengthened, and if that agni can be purified, which homam can do. If you do a homam every day or every week or every month, that homam can really purify your bhutagni and make it very strong. And when the bhutagni is very strong, it can do so many good things to you. And not only that, all other spiritual sadhanas you may be doing. You may be doing a mantra 5 hours every day, but nothing may be happening. It may be because your agni is not strong enough to digest that mantra. You are saying it, but it's not being digested fully. If your bhutagni becomes strong, all the mantras that you do, all the various kinds of sadhanas you do, they all give their results 10 times or 100 times or 1000 times faster. So if any of you are interested, I'll be very willing to help. And also, just like I mentioned on the Yahoo groups, if anybody wants to learn how to do Mahaganpati Homam, I'll teach them. So a lot of people sent mails. So I actually typed the document. It's almost done. I just have to type the Atharva system and then it's done. And then I will record all the mantras in MP3 format and put them on my website. So you can use the document, you can listen to the mantras and then you can try to do it yourself. And if you have any problems, I'll be willing to help you.
This homam which you are mentioning, what deity
you can do any deity, but to start with, I wanted to do 60 days Mahaganpati Homam. So that is what I am doing. Today was the 44th day. After that, I will switch to Mahalakshmi, my Ishta Devata. You can do to any Devata. It doesn't really matter. But the thing is, if you start with Mahaganpati, it is a good thing. Mahaganpati is always very, it's easy. It's an easy Homam. Especially I do the Vedic method, the Vaidika Paddhati. So it's a very easy method. It's not complicated. And I do without any wood. I don't use any wood in my homam. I just put a small fire. It's basically like a big deepam. It's bigger than normal deepam, but it's a really small fire. Only when I put the Purnahuti, which is basically half dry coconut, only then there is big fire. Until then, just dry coconut pieces I put, small dry coconut pieces. So it's a small fire that is burning. But the thing is, whether the fire is really this big or this big doesn't really matter. The association between that fire and the bhutagni within you. And in the beginning that may not be there. As you do it, slowly the bond will form between you and the fire. And when the bond forms, when the association between bhutagni and the external agni within your mind is complete, at that time whatever mantra you are saying to that agni will also go to your bhutagni. And then that will purify your bhutagni. And as bhutagni is purified, it becomes stronger and stronger. And as it becomes stronger, everything else, if you have, for example, digestive problems, this will finally increase your jaఠragni also. Your digestive problems may go away. You may feel more energy. Because of this homam, I already had a very busy schedule. I was basically no time for any personal things. Basically, I was always doing something or the other. So, especially last few months, I had more activities than earlier. So, no time for anything. So, I was apprehensive about adding 1 more hour to the schedule, but I actually have more energy now because of this. And I can guarantee you that if you try doing a homam by yourself, it will have a beneficial influence on you. Because we are so bothered about this stupid gross body. We think this is everything. We don't understand the Sukshma Sarira. We don't understand its needs. We don't do anything for it. And this is something that you can do for your Sukshma Sarira.
So all these mantras have to be recited, or what happens, suppose you're unable to pronounce it properly?
In my view, there are certain procedures, some tantric procedures where doing the right tantra, the right sequence, the right pronunciation, all those are very important. But if you are just doing the Vedic method, if you are just doing the Veda mantras, these are purely sattvic. So if you make a mistake, not a big deal. The important thing is, see, pronunciation is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the image in your mind. When you are saying something, your mind is thinking something. It's not just the sound that comes out of the mouth. It is also the image that is formed in the mind. So when there is a synchronization between the two, that is when things happen. When there is no synchronization between those, you are just doing a mechanical thing like a robot. Just like a robot says something, like that. Now you are, like that you are just saying the mantra. No, you are basically a robot. No, nothing will basically happen because of it. So the right image has to be there in your mind. So there are two sides of the coin. There are people who do very, very bad pronunciation, but they have Shraddha and they have the right bhakti and they have the right image in their mind, right thoughts in their mind. So their mantras actually work, even though their pronunciation is terrible. Especially some Tamil priests, I know some who are really, really devoted, and they don't know the difference between ka, kha, ga, gha, ha. They don't know the difference between cha, cha, ja, jha. They don't know the difference between pa, pa, ba, bha. Instead of Padmaja, they may say Padmaja, Padma etakshim for Lakshmi. Like that, instead of Kamala, they may say Kamala. Still, they get results. You can see the results for yourself if you know how to see. So, it's not the most important thing. It is also important, but it is not the only important thing. And as a matter of fact, especially with Veda mantras, if other thing you can work on, if you are doing some pronunciation, eventually your pronunciation will become perfect. Somebody will help you, eventually, and no harm. And as a matter of fact, just to make sure that your pronunciation is also pretty reasonable to start with, what I am doing is, apart from the document so far is 24 pages. After I type authorization, probably it will be like 26 or 27 pages. So I'm going to say everything that is given in, every mantra given in the document. I'm going to pronounce it continuously, just make one MP3 file and put that along with the document on my website, the PDF and the MP3. So you can, if you listen to it, you will get it.
And on that note, you said start with Ganapati Home and then we can do anything. Suppose you are already doing some Mantra, then you can do that itself into the Home.
Yeah. For example, I do Mahaganapati Homam. At the end of Mahaganapati Homam, doing the Ganapati Home mantras and Atharvasesham, I just do my Gayatri. I do Gayatri Japam every day, like a few hundred times. So I just do Gayatri some 16 times. I offer ghee to Mahaganapati. See, the Ganapati that I worship in Mahaganapati Homam, he is not the Ganapati who removes your vighnas, who gives you money or who gives you children. It's not that Ganapati that I worship. I do those mantras also, but the main mantra that I do Om Shreem Hreem Kleem Glom Gam Ganapati, that mantra, the Bija mantra, I do just 12 times, which is basically a minimum count. I do the Gananam Tva, that mantra, I do just 8 times or 12 times, depending on the mood and time. So I just do minimum counts. The mantra I do most is Atharvasesham. I do it 3 times. That takes 10 minutes. So I relate more to Veda mantras. I don't somehow associate with other stotras, other Bija mantras, etc. My attachment is to the Veda mantras. So Atharvasesham is basically a worship of Ganapati. He says, Tvam Vishnustvam, Rudrastvam, Indrastvam, Agnistvam, Vayustvam, Suryastvam, Chandramastvam. So he is everybody. So it is that Ganesha, if you look at my analogy of a diamond basically, the God analogy that I gave earlier, the innermost surface, Ganapati as the innermost surface, very in touch with Brahman basically, Nirguna Brahman, from whom everything else came. So it is that Ganapati that we are worshipping, the highest form of Ganapati, who is the source of all creation. The whole world is within him. He is Brahman. So that kind of Ganapati, if you are praying, Lakshmi, Brahma, Vishnu, Durga, who are there? They are all him. So if you offer their mantras to that Ganapati, he is happy. So it is perfectly alright. If you worship that kind of any devata, if you do Lakshmi for example, if you look at Lakshmi as the source of entire creation, then you can offer the mantra of any devata to her. So I do Gayatri mantram, a few ahutis of ghee I do in my Ganapati Homam, and on Fridays I do Sri Suktam. I do each shloka one ghee ahuti I do, and these Sundays, the Devi Navaratris, I am doing this Devi Suktam that I read at the beginning. So there are 8 shlokas in Devi Suktam, so 8 ahutis for the 8 shlokas I do.
Is there a difference here? Because I do the Gayatri quite a bit.
Yeah.
So when I do that takes a long time.
Yeah.
Plus, I see there is a difference between doing it in the Homam or not doing it in the Homam and focusing it on the Agna Chakram and doing it.
Yeah.
So when I do it focusing on asana, then it is giving a different result.
Hmm.
Then if I do in the homam,
Yeah.
that same meditation concentration effect is not there.
It won't be there. It won't be there. This is a different thing. So this is not an alternative. Offering whatever mantra you normally do, offering it to the devata in the fire is not an alternative to what you are doing. It's basically just a supplement.
No, because that itself takes quite a bit of time. So now adding another 1 hour or 45
No,
minutes.
you don't have to add 1 hour. Just do 11 ahutis, 12 ahutis, 8 ahutis. Just token amount.
No, but I will just
But if you okay, I think now I understand your question. Suppose you do 10 malas of Gayatri every day.
Malas Gayatri.
Okay, you do 1000 times Gayatri every day. Then I don't recommend doing 1000 times in the homam.
Correct. So
It's
now
not
that
beneficial.
was the-
Actually, japam is more beneficial. But the thing is, if you supplement it by just doing, let's say, 12 ahutis, I do 16 ahutis. You can do 12 ahutis, you can do 100 ahutis. A limited amount of ahutis in the ghee, in the fire with ghee, just as a token. If you do that, it will act as a supplement. It will actually, you will realize if you do it for a while, you will realize that your actual japam increases. The effect that you see in the japam, which may be different. When you do the homam, you won't see that effect. You see something lower. But when you go back to your japam, the good result that you were seeing earlier will be magnified because of the small ahutis you are putting in the fire.
when I do
You may not realize it when you are putting it in the fire. You may not even realize it's because of this, but it is because of this. That your other japam will increase in its
If I do 10
fructification.
there, then I can add 1 more mala just into
You
this.
can do dashamsam. Dashamsam is the standard thing. If you do 10 malas, 1 mala in the fire is the standard. But if you ask me, you don't have to be bound by those formulas. All those formulas are for specific reasons. If you want a siddhi in a mantra, etc. You don't care about anything. You just want to be happy. Just want God to be happy. If you don't have any other sankalpam, which is the best thing to do, then do 10 malas. If you just want to put 10 ahutis, put 10 ahutis. Be done with it. They won't mind. But if you are putting some ahutis in the fire of any mantra that you do sadhana of, it will increase. Your bhutagni will basically become used to that mantra. And when you are doing that mantra again, your bhutagni, even in the absence of an external fire, your bhutagni will fire and receive the mantra and digest that mantra better. And when the mantra is, because most of the time when we are saying something, you may even feel certain things. But still, the digestion of the mantra is 90%, 99% results in indigestion. Any mantra you do is not digested fully by your Sukha Sarira. Because if you do something like Gayatri 1000 times, if it is fully digested,
I won't be here.
no, you will be here, but it will be different.
I know.
Okay. Any other questions?
And, the Vijay is doing every day now. For 3 weeks now. I think.
Good, very good.
Doing twice a day, in fact.
Very good. Good. We need all these Vedic things like homam, japam, all these things have to come back. Because there is a very good chance that world will go to the next cycle in Kali. We are already in Kali. And sooner or later Ghor Kali has to start. Things have to become even worse, more terrible, more strife, more diseases, more chaos. It has to happen. It's not in our hands. It is basically willed long back. So it has to happen. When it happens, now just if some people are doing some pujas here and there, it may not be enough. It was enough until now to keep the balance. So going forward, it may not be enough. So some people may have to actually do even higher sadhana than people that are doing now. So some people who are capable have to go back to more traditional Vedic ways, and that will be very important for the world in the next few millennia. So things have to start. Any other points? Any other questions? Okay. So we will do Grahana Santadhyayam.
Do you want to restart this?
Yes.